I don't think people are becoming more narcissistic. I think we're becoming more visible. And once everyone can be seen, everyone starts performing. Because for most of human history, your audience was tiny. Maybe your family, your friends, coworkers, the people who happen to know you. That was it. You didn't wake up wondering how your breakfast looked. You didn't wonder whether your vacation was impressive enough. You didn't think about whether strangers approved of your opinions. You just lived your life. Now, almost every moment has the potential of becoming content. And I think that's changing us in ways we're only beginning to understand. Because somewhere along the way, life stopped being something we experienced and started becoming something we presented. I mean, think about how often you see it. People don't just go to restaurants anymore. They document restaurants. They don't just attend concerts. They record concerts. They don't just take a vacation, right? They create vacation content. Sometimes it feels like the experience itself has become secondary to providing the experience happened. And what's fascinating is that this isn't just limited to influencers. It's everyone. Teachers, realtors, students, parents, CEOs, retirees, small business owners, everyone, because social media quietly changed the incentives. Attention became visible. Approval became measurable. Popularity became numerical. And once something can be measured, people start optimizing it, likes, views, followers, shares, comments. Even people who claim not to care often care more than they realize, because humans are social creatures. That's just the truth. We always have been. We naturally seek approval. What's different now is that approval comes with a scoreboard, and scoreboards change behavior. Imagine every conversation you had growing up came with a number attached to it. Every joke, every opinion, every story, every outfit, every accomplishment. Now imagine that number was public. Of course, you'd start adjusting your behavior. Of course, you'd become more aware of how you're perceived. That's exactly what's happening. And the result is something strange. We're slowly becoming a performance, no, not fake, not dishonest, just a performative culture, right? Because performance isn't necessarily lying. It's emphasizing certain parts of yourself. Editing, highlighting your works, hiding what you don't want, creating a version of yourself designed for the audience. And once you start doing that, it becomes difficult to stop because now people aren't reacting to your life. They're reacting to your presentation of your life. And those aren't the same thing. What's even stranger is how this has spread beyond social media. Look at modern workplaces. LinkedIn isn't even a resume anymore. It's a stage. People aren't just doing jobs. They're documenting jobs, announcing jobs, celebrating jobs, building professional identities around jobs. Again, not necessarily bad, but definitely performative. And take politics. Now, this is where it's more obvious. Political opinions increasingly feel less like beliefs and more like identities. People aren't just expressing ideas, they're signaling memberships, showing which team they belong to, performing loyalty to their audience. Because audiences reward certainty, audiences reward confidence, audiences reward outrage, and eventually, people learn what gets applause. The same thing happens online every day. Somebody posts nuanced opinion. Nobody notices. Somebody posts something extreme. Millions of views. The lesson becomes obvious. Performance wins. And once performance starts winning, authenticity starts losing. Not because people are bad, Because people adapt. Humans always adapt to incentives. Always. What gets rewarded gets repeated. That's true in business. It's true in politics. It's true online. And it's true everyday life. Sometimes I think about how difficult it must be to be a teenager right now. Every awkward phase is documented. Every mistake is recorded. Every social interaction potentially becomes public. When I was growing up, embarrassment eventually disappeared. Today's embarrassment has a cloud backup, and that changes behavior. You become more cautious, more calculated, more aware, more performative. But here's the part that fascinates me most. The people who seem most authentic online are the performing authenticity. They're trying to act like it with messy videos, casual videos, real life videos, the spontaneous videos. Many of them are carefully crafted, so you know. Even authenticity can be performance, which means eventually you're left wondering, what is real? And honestly, I think that's one reason so many people feel exhausted. Being a human is already hard. Being a human while managing a public identity is harder, even if your audience is only a few hundred people, or a few dozen, or even just friends and family, because somewhere in the back of your mind exists an audience. And audiences change behavior. The camera changes behavior. The possibility of being watched changes behavior. That's why people act differently when someone starts recording. The recording itself changes reality. Now imagine carrying that possibility everywhere, every day, for years. No wonder people feel pressure. No wonder people feel anxiety. No wonder people feel disconnected, because performance requires energy. Constantly thinking about perception requires energy. Constantly managing an identity requires energy. And eventually people get tired, which may explain why we're seeing a growing desire for privacy, for smaller communities, for anonymous spaces, for digital detoxes, for hobbies nobody sees, for moments that aren't documented. Because maybe people actually miss it being unobserved. No visibility, just free from audiences, free from scoreboards, free from performance. Because maybe the most rebellious thing left in modern society is doing something nobody will ever see. Reading a book, maybe, without posting it. Taking a trip without documenting it. Having an opinion without broadcasting it. Accomplishing something without announcing it. Living a life that doesn't require an audience. And maybe that's what we've forgotten. Not everything is meaningful needs to be seen. Not everything valuable needs to have attention. Not everything real needs proof. Because the best moments of your life may never get likes. They may never get views. They may never become content. And that's exactly what makes them yours. If everyone is performing, maybe the real luxury now is being able to stop. See you tomorrow.